the location of Omaha is so great in order, like, destination to come to and to leave from, to be honest, and come home, right? Like, traveling is so easy from here in comparison to, other bigger, like, cities of comparable size. Well, hello. You're listening to Oh My Omaha, the podcast, where we uncover inspiring things about our community through the stories of inspiring people who call it home. I am Dee Harrell, and this is the creator of Oh My Omaha, the blog, and the blogosphere's friendliest face herself, Kim Reiner. Hi there. Hey, hi, how are ya?
I'm good.
Yeah, running.
I've been running around too.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I guess.
The weather is amazing, though.
I know.
It's going to be like 40 tomorrow, though.
Yeah. Today I'm in a 4-hour meeting after this.
No.
So I gotta be inside. I want to ask and see if we can do like class outside sort of thing.
Yeah. 4-hour meeting?
So it's like a strategic planning for the board I'm on. 4 hours today, 4 hours tomorrow.
Oh my. But it's St. Patrick's Day celebrations tomorrow. I have to work tomorrow at the bar. Yeah. So my friend that owns the security company that I've worked for years and stuff. So I'm working from 2 to 2.
Jeez.
Yeah. I'll pretend I'm younger than I actually am.
I'm like, I'm tired.
But I try to work the angle because it's my birthday. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Smart. It works sometimes. Yeah. St. Patty's Day is Monday already. And they had didn't they have the parade last week?
Yeah.
Huh.
I had a lot of people asking like on like my Facebook and everything if I was for real saying that the parade was Saturday. I'm like, yeah, they're just doing it early.
Eli said it and I was like, nah, it's going to be.
It's usually the Saturday right before, but I guess maybe to help bars have 2 days of 2 Saturdays of celebration.
True. Yeah. Help the businesses. Yeah. You guys going to do anything?
No, probably
no.
Not. I mean,
no more Reubens or corned beef and cabbage and.
No, one time we tried to make it like a year or two ago. We had corned beef and cabbage, and the kids were just
like, "What is this?
No, we're not eating this." And I think we tried like green raviolis or something one year. Yeah, and I was like, nope, not having that either.
No. Green food coloring.
Nope.
Fun fact: my one time in college, my teammates made a green cake for my birthday. And they put a bunch of green food coloring and everybody got sick. And I've been like very wary of green food coloring since then. I'm sure it wasn't it. I have no idea what it was, but yeah, green food coloring. One year when I was little, we drew shamrocks on everyone's faces for my birthday party with green food coloring. It lasted for an entire week. Like everybody had these shamrocks on their
semi-permanent tattoo.
So yeah, if you want to do a semi-permanent tattoo, grab some food coloring.
So green food coloring. You've heard the story of like the grasshopper pie incident? So Kevin and I were dating, and we went out to eat, and we ordered grasshopper pie to share at the end.
Yeah.
And so we're just sitting there eating, and like I look up at him, and he's got like green food coloring kind of around his mouth, and I'm like, "Ha, you look ridiculous." And he looks at me, and he's like laughing at me, like we're to the point of tears, and we're like, because I didn't realize I had it all, like it was just on everything. And like I said,
it stays.
Like we go to the bathroom to look, and it's like,
it's so scary. Yeah, honestly. So fair warning, for whatever reason, the green food coloring is like, it sticks. Oh my gosh.
I wanted to tell you. So did you see Omaha Performing Arts announce like their Broadway season?
I did. And Juliet.
I'm like, I'm going to go see that after you mentioned
we
it.
We should go. Because it's honestly like, we were so excited when we saw that. And I'm like, oh, did they know? Like I was talking up that show quite a bit. And somebody was
I bet they were.
Mm-hmm. Because it is so great. Everybody go see Aunt Juliet. The whole lineup's great. They've got some really good ones. But that one is, it's so good. Again, if you missed the other one, it's just about Aunt Juliet. Like instead of Romeo and Juliet, it's like Aunt Juliet. She comes to she's like, I don't want to be with this guy, and like takes off and lives this like whole free like life. It's amazing. And the score is by the all of the songs are produced by the same person who wrote like tons of pop hits for like Britney Spears and Katy Perry and Backstreet Boys. It's the whole score sets the tone for the entire play. It's so great. Yeah, it's really, really one of the best ones I've seen in a really long time. Yeah, I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah. And then like in 2 weeks, I'm going to go see Broadway here in Omaha. Some Like It Hot.
Yes.
I'm gonna go see that.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
shows.
Everybody should check out a lot of the
Yeah.
shows coming, which kind of is a good segue to what we're talking
Yeah.
about today.
So I often get emails or even like Facebook messages from
Mhm.
people who ask like help with like planning their visit to Omaha.
Yeah.
And a recent one was a family that's coming in. They wanted to just drive for a vacation for their spring break with the kids. And I think they're planning like 4 days in Omaha.
Oh, awesome.
And so, and she was asking, so it was end of March, and she was wondering like 2 days at the zoo, is that more than enough? Or, and what would you recommend for other things to do?
Yeah.
And I think the last time I wrote anything about like best weekend in Omaha type stuff, it's been a few years even. So
Yeah.
I had to do for updating. So I thought Dee and I would share our
Yeah.
ideas for planning visits. Like I have an aunt that comes up sometimes with friends, and she'll ask me restaurant recommendations or new places to go. And she just recently asked again. So I'm like, all right, I think it's time
To update
the
that.
universe is signaling that I should
I think so. There's a lot happening.
share our opinions here.
All right.
So let's talk about let's just start with families.
Yeah.
Like if a family planning like a weekend, like a Friday to Sunday.
Yeah, that's a
because I think people are reluctant to fly maybe.
yeah.
And Omaha's a good middle of the country.
It is great. That
destination.
is one. I mean, before we start even just in town, the location of Omaha is so great in order like destination to come to and to leave from, to be honest,
Yeah.
and come home. Right. Like traveling is so easy from here in comparison to, other bigger like cities of comparable size.
Great.
Yeah. Even the interstate. As much as sometimes I hate being on the roads, like during rush hour,
Right.
go to like big city, and during rush hour, go to Kansas City, Chicago, whatever during rush hour, and you're like, okay,
Kansas
never mind.
City,
I want to go. I want to go
Yeah.
back to home to Omaha. It's great.
Stampede, man. Yeah.
Okay, so the zoo, yeah.
So the zoo, would you say? So I told her like one day, like full day,
Yep.
is enough for the zoo unless you come in the summer.
Yep.
Like in the summer, it's much more crowded, so you're gonna just kind of have to move a little slower. And if you're coming with kids, they're going to want to cool off at the splash area. They're going to want to play in the children's trail area and cool off in the river. And that's like almost like a whole day between those two. Like with my kids, like when we went to the zoo, we would just pick like an area to go to pretty much.
Because you can't, it is hard to do the entire thing, with all the activities and the heat and the people and the things, like different shows and whatnot, or that like different events that are happening.
Right.
But yeah, I would agree with you. I think one full
tiring day.
We
went to the zoo this week.
Did you?
Henry's off.
Oh, yeah.
Spring break. And so we went and we were just walking around for just a couple hours. It's exhausting. I was just thinking about, wow, for someone who hasn't been to the zoo before, and you're going to want to see as much as you can.
Yep. Plan a day.
So, yeah.
A full day.
So like I would say for a family coming in, plan that Saturday.
Yep.
Pretty much, and get there in the morning.
Yeah. Unless they're able to come Friday day. Like Friday day would be better than Saturday day.
Right.
As far as people.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's a good point. And like people want to know about like if you plan the whole day at the zoo, whether you eat there.
Yeah.
Or bring your own food. And a lot of people do pack like a picnic. We did that when the kids were younger.
Yeah.
But if you do like eat at the zoo restaurants, I recommend like the Lead Jungle that I think it's called Durham Treetop Place. So they have, if you've never been, they have like a wall of windows overlooking the jungle.
Yeah.
And it
is really great.
And watch. So I love eating there. And then our other favorite place is over in the African grasslands. It's by there's a I don't know if the elephants are out that far, but you can eat outdoors.
Oh.
And they have kind of unique, they have the typical zoo food, but then they have like one or two African dishes that you can order.
Yeah.
And so we've dined there, and they also have, I don't know if they have both of them now, but they have like ginormous pretzels.
Ooh.
And a ginormous chocolate chip cookie. And I went one year with the kids, and we're like, all right, we're just gonna, that was the plan, because I wanted to see how big it was.
Yeah.
Just how big. And it is.
Oh, I remember pictures.
Like we couldn't even finish it. And my kids are like, we're both like chocolate chip cookie monsters.
Yeah.
And like we could not finish that
Oh my gosh.
among 3 people. So it's definitely something that you could split with
For
your
a
whole family
family.
as a
Mhm.
snack.
Yeah. And you made a good point. Maybe you can do both. If you're staying for like for the full day, pack like snacks and picnic or whatever stuff so that you're in the park, like in the parking lot, you can go get it in the cooler in the car and
You
whatnot.
can bring the cooler in with you though.
Oh
Like
yeah,
if you
I
have like a
forgot that you could.
wagon
Mhm.
or rent one.
And then just maybe plan on having like a nice little treat, But
A
yeah,
lot of
the
people do that.
jungle, it's really good to eat there. It's nice, good scenery. And you kind of knock it out. Yeah. That's good.
So let's say like if you're traveling and you have the Friday,
Hmm.
go to the zoo on Friday.
Yeah,
It's a little less busy.
it is.
And if you can come visit off season,
Yeah.
the zoo is the best. Like I always tell people, and I told this mom the same thing. Like I love going to the zoo in the winter. It's my favorite time of year.
Yeah.
I feel like the animals are more active.
Hmm.
It's definitely like you get prime parking spots. Like
Yeah.
you don't have to park.
Well, yeah, and it's like almost the animals are just like, yeah, people, like, because there are not a lot of people going in the winter, but yeah,
And
it's
there's like
nice.
5, maybe there's a lot of indoor exhibits right at the entrance. So like
Right at the end.
if you didn't feel like bundling up and going to the far end of the zoo, you can see a lot of things.
Yeah, just in the building,
cool.
in the inside alone. Yeah, and you wouldn't have to walk up the big hill.
Yes.
But yeah, again, if you've never been to our zoo, just remember there's a massive hill from the petting zoo or petting area, right?
The children's trail.
Yeah. And then it goes, it is steep and it is gradually long. Like it's a long, so just be weary.
Right.
And
there's like not a whole lot to see yet.
Yeah.
So you just walk, you're just like, oh.
And it's always at the end. You always end up going for whatever reason, even knowing that it's there. We're like, okay, we'll go to the kid stuff at the end. So you start at the right and you come around and you're just like, man, I should have just gone downhill instead of walking up at the end of the day.
And a little tip, like for the out-of-towners, if you're visiting in the summer, park on the north end of the zoo.
Yep.
They have a second entrance, but it's not open off season usually.
Yeah.
So you park on the north end. If you're coming from the interstate, there's usually a line of cars coming off of I-80 to take the south, to go south and use the south entrance of the zoo. If you take that exit and you turn north instead, you seem like you're going away from the zoo. You're just going around over the interstate and up to like 10th Street and down to the zoo.
Is it like Bancroft? Is it Bancroft? You turn on, is it Bancroft?
I think you could turn a little bit sooner than Bancroft.
Cool.
Like the first right that you could turn,
right after.
You go, there's still signs there, and you just get to like
and you kind of go, it's
it's
nice.
kind of back way that a lot of local parents know about.
Yeah, and not a lot of out-of-towners know about.
Yeah, so go that way, avoid that lineup.
100%.
So,
yeah.
And then I usually, so you go to the zoo for sure. Everyone plans the zoo trip. Yeah. And then when you're choosing where to stay, do you ever have people ask you where?
They do. And I often, because I'm such an old market lover, I'll talk about different places in the old market. Yeah. Depending on the size of the family.
Right.
Yeah. If it's like a family of like 4 from out of town, different ages, I will tell them like the Marriott or, but if it's like a couple of friends and stuff, I recommend like the Farnham, the Deco.
Deco's nice. So like families, I always say like Embassy Suites.
Yeah.
It's expensive. It's right at the foot of the old market though. I mean, you have to pay for parking, and you have to pay for parking for a lot of places down there. But like for being able to just walk out of your hotel.
Yep.
And then they have if you visit during the week, they have the happy hour and they have good food. But then there's a line of hotels along 10th Street, and those are all great spots.
They are.
The closer you get, if you go further from the zoo down 10th Street, there's some kind of Marriott brand hotels. And
there's a Courtyard, there's the Marriott, and then there's the
Hilton.
Yeah.
And they're all right by the
CHI and
the riverfront, all the parks. And so that's a great spot to stay too, because if you're not, like, you still get to the old market easily, but like if you got little kids, you just leave the hotel and you've got playgrounds and running space.
And the Embassy Suites is great too, because it's like you just walk up Howard and you got all of the old shops or the shops in the old market, and that's a day in itself. I was going to say, right, if you do Friday, the zoo, say you stay at the Embassy Suites or close, Farmers Market is opening soon. And so like that would be a Saturday
morning, Saturday morning, stroll around. It's lively. There's usually some buskers and lots of dogs. kids'
Lots of
favorite
food.
thing.
Lots of
You can
food.
get fine food there.
Yeah.
For breakfast or brunch. If you don't get food at the farmer's market, there's usually like some great pastries from one of our
Yeah.
restaurants.
Oh yeah.
But like we've done brunch at Upstream,
Yep.
and they have like an outdoor patio that's great to sit at.
The
You can watch
Godega's got a little patio now
Bodega.
too, and they have little breakfast sandwiches, and they got vegan options too, which is awesome, and a really great like selection of specialty barista drinks. Yeah, it's nice, and they've had the patio for over a year or so, but it's just and it's right on the corner of 11th and Howard, and so yeah, it's so good, and you're just right in the middle of it.
Yeah. And then what would you tell people to do for that Saturday?
Well, after the farmers market, well, you know, there's the botanical gardens are great. Honestly, I tell people to go there all the time. Kennefic Park, you know, just go see the train, go see flowers and the plants.
So the Kennefic Park, if you don't know, so that's next to Lawrence and Gardens. You can go there, and it's free to see the train. Like there's two big train engines.
It's the ones that you drive in. Yeah, if you drive in and you see, it's like Welcome to Omaha. It's right on the. Yeah.
So you don't have to pay admission to Lawrence if you just want to go see the engines.
Yeah. Yeah, which is key, right? Because some people don't want to see the plants,
right? But like it's really well worth it. Like once the conservatory is closed right now, but they're going to reopen it probably come summer. And if you go, so the conservatory is amazing.
Yeah,
it's great. Like if you come in the winter and it's go in there and just kind of walk around tropical area. But in the summer, with kids, you want to go to Lawrence and Gardens for the railroad garden.
Yeah,
the model railroad garden is so cool to see, and even adult, like I love it. It's one of my favorites. And they are working on building a children's garden, right?
Yes.
They talked about it in an early episode.
Yeah,
that's going to be amazing to see. I think families are going to love that.
I think they will too. And it's still awesome for the family, but having that more integrated, targeted towards children would be great.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then like a little tip that I got early on when I was very early in blogging, and I would ask PR people for tips for visiting their places. And one great tip that I still use is you can get a tram ride. Like you buy a ticket for a tram, ride it with your kids all the way out to the stopping point, and then walk back. Instead of walking all the way around and doing like a round trip. Yeah, the tram's a lot for little legs.
It is a lot. That's a good thing to note, right? If you spend the whole day at the zoo and then you're going to go to again, tram it is tiring. But so I'd say the riverfront would
Riverfront's another great option. That might be great for the evening because some places aren't going to be open late.
Yeah.
And Riverfront is well lit. It's going to be busy. It's going to be very lively.
Yeah. But even when it's really busy, it's not overwhelming. It's not like I don't want to go. Even like taking kids to like the playground at Jean Leahy is like, you're like it's like, whoa, there's a lot of kids, but it is massive. It's lots of space. And even the slides, you know, like the kids will always line up, but it goes so fast. And but the skate ribbon, $5.
It's
for rental.
So you can skate under lights at night,
and you get the rental for the whole day. Yeah. Like you rent skates and you get them for the entire day. There's no time limit. You could still have them go eat, go do whatever, and still and then come back and skate. Right. But it's like you rent them for that entirety, and like it's open super late. It's awesome. It's so great.
Yeah, and so there's two fantastic playgrounds. Keep in mind while you're there. The Jean Leahy is at about 11th and Farnham.
Yeah, I think it's between it's like between 13th and 12th. Like it is at like 12th and 11th, right? And then it opened. Then 11th to 10th is that little water section, the water area with the big Connecco, and then the dog park.
Yep.
And then you cross 10th, and then you get the river
park. You got the skate ribbon, and then you're going to want to keep going. You're going to cross over a little bridge closer to the river, and you're going to get to Lewis and Clark Landing, and that is a fantastic playground. That's probably of the two playgrounds. That's my preference. Right, you're only going to do one, but they're both great.
So, that you could spend an entire day at that playground by the Luminarium. Like it's so cool, and it is. I mean, even as an adult, it's one of my I like to do it. It's so fun. But the Luminarium, that's another.
That's fun, and I would say that's for all ages.
Yeah.
There is a little restaurant inside called Fig.
Big. It's
That's
great.
great for you can get your lunch there, or you can get like a pastry. We always kind of like split
Mhm.
like 1 or 2 pastries.
They're
or
really
coffee. Fill up on
accommodating.
coffee if you're like midday and you're like, okay, I'm
They've got a
feeling it,
great
tired.
matcha there too.
Yeah.
And they're because someone with me, like with my dietary restrictions, they're really, if you just talk to them, they're really good at like substituting or making something for you. It's awesome. And it's like the windows, you can see the river, you can eat outside. And that's another thing too. They got all those sand volleyball courts. You know, you can just bring a ball. There's a ton of them. And then there's such open space in the like behind the luminarium on the riverfront. And I mean, one of my favorite things to do is like just plug in and listen to music and, you know, maybe draw or read or whatever, just right on the river. But there's just all that space that some people don't even know is there. It's just that it's huge. There's like even a little beach area.
Play in the sand. Kids can play in the sand. If you're not exhausted, in that area, you keep heading north. You're going to get to the Bob.
Yep.
The Bob Bridge. It crosses over the Missouri, and people love doing that. It's a super short walk.
It's so fun.
But you can go. There's the state line, the Iowa-Nebraska state line, right in the middle.
You get to cross.
You got to take your picture there.
Yeah, and it's over the water.
Yeah,
so cool.
It's cool. Underneath the bridge, look for the troll. Kids like finding Omar.
Yeah.
And
you should tell people about the troll.
So there's a giant blue troll under the bridge, and you can get your picture with Omar. He kind of is the guardian of the bridge, maybe. It's a story. And right in that area, I think some people, even Omaha people, forget that there is the Lewis and Clark National Park headquarters. Yeah, like the River Trail, or not River Trail, but it's like Lewis and Clark Trail.
It is the
national headquarters. It's free to go in. It's a small space, but there is things for kids to do. Yeah, there's some hands-on things related to the exploration. There's, I think, a little documentary you can watch if you're feeling it. Yeah. And
they got the baby bot. What is it? What are they calling the other pedestrian bridge?
I want to say Baby Bob. Sounds right, or Bob Jr.
Something like that. But yeah.
But then, when is that open? Is that open yet?
I think it's opening. Yeah.
Okay. It's opening probably this summer.
Yeah. And the accessibility to the other side, to Council Bluffs, is so cool. And the things that they're doing on the other side of the river this summer, like late spring, early summer. I love the idea of walking from Nebraska to Iowa to go to like a function. They have so many concerts, festivals and stuff. Yeah, it's amazing.
In May, there's like corgi races.
Oh yes,
weekend
we talked about the corgi races.
Yes, I went with Charlotte.
So funny.
They have corgi races. I think so. That park over there is called the River's Edge Park. There is another playground over there. It's a little smaller, but it has the coolest looking. It's a really cool design with a giant seagull, I think, that you can play on. Yeah. And there is a little splash garden over there.
And the amphitheater or the pavilion that they have set up over there is really awesome. And acoustically, I'm excited about that. Like I've not heard anything over there, and I know they've got a lot of things planned this year. And there's like there are a lot of musical festivals that are going to be taking place on that River's Edge.
They are coming up in first weekend, I think, in April. They have Spring Fest over there. Yeah, big kite festival, free. Like all the stuff happening most of the time is going to be free in that park. It's great.
It's great. Yeah. So if you are planning a trip, or even if you're in town, I would highly recommend looking some of that stuff up. It's so much fun.
Check the calendar.
Yeah.
And then for dinner.
Oh, that's dinner. Fun. It is fun.
For dinner with the kids, though. I would say if you're staying in the old market, depending on what you want to eat. So we have pizza's always a hit. So there's Zio's Pizzeria. It's kind of New York style. We go there when the kids were little. They would hand the kids some dough to play with while you're waiting.
Yeah, they do. So even if you're not a kid. If you know about it and you are like wanting to, they'll give you it.
Yeah, so, pass the time. You can just make fake pizzas or whatever. So that's great.
And there's Orsi's Pizza.
Oh my gosh, Orsi's that's the oldest continuously running restaurant in Omaha.
So cool.
It's in Little Italy. It's a little bit of a walk from the old market. It's not in the old market, but it's worth it.
Totally worth it. In Little Italy, like Little Bohemia, Little Italy is awesome to check out if you're, wanting if your kind of thing is checking out different neighborhoods. Cause I mean,
Yeah, it's just south,
so
like
cool.
maybe a mile, if even,
Mhm.
south of the old market, between like 13th Street,
13th and
8th,
8th. Yeah.
maybe.
Or 6th even. Yeah.
Yeah. Cute neighborhood. There's
So awesome.
you've got fun little bars.
Yeah, and really great shops down 13th. Like
Yes.
there's a lot of things to look at and to go into, even with families.
Yep.
On 13th Street.
So there's the Beercade, and that is a beer arcade.
Yeah.
And up until about maybe 6 p.m., you can bring your kids in
You
there.
can.
And it's like
And people don't know that.
games,
I don't think
quarter
people know
games.
that. I
Not
think
very many.
it's so fun.
Yeah.
It is so
You
fun.
pinball, all the games you played when you were a kid.
Yeah. And there's
Ninja
like a lot
Turtles.
of thrift stores, like really great thrift stores down 13th Street or consignment and little shops that are just really unique to the area. I think it's awesome.
Speaking of shops, so like while you're visiting Omaha, if you want to buy souvenirs, where would you send people?
Oh, I would be on Howard Street. I would do City Limits, and I would do like or Raygun, even Made in Omaha, Raygun on Jackson. I would that would be that whole block, like Jackson, Howard area of of the gift stuff, like even Souk. Souk is such a great little stuff. And going to the passageway, particularly if you're going to be downtown, just go check it out.
So out of towners sometimes have a hard time finding passageway. That is on Howard Street. It's right in the middle of the block. Between 10th and 11th.
Correct. And it's on the north side.
So you want to go, you'll go inside. You'll probably see the storefront for Souk.
Yep.
And
there's like stairs. You'll see a stairway on the outside. Just keep walking, and then the passageways. It's beautiful. Yep. It's so beautiful.
That's where you see like the iconic. You see a lot of photos of the old market. And people take pictures in the passageway because they've got like the sparkle lights and the greenery dangling from the walls or from the arch windows. It's beautiful.
It is. And Trini's and V-Mertz is right there. You want to talk food. I mean,
Trini's would be great. Mexican food for kids.
V-Mertz is a great date night.
Yeah, I wouldn't
recommend that for Yeah, it's not a on vacation.
And then Saturday, so after walking around and having dinner, dessert.
I was at 10 Wally's last night. Like honestly, we went to go see Parker, and we all went and got some ice cream. 10 Wally's would be my number one.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And if it's non-families, I mean, side note, there's a lot of places that you can go for like a really good dessert drink or something. Right. Yeah.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Sunday, I would pick maybe another museum
or like theater.
Although they open kind of late on Sundays.
Well, we can there's some shows on like matinee shows. You could take the family to on
the Rose. But sometimes if there's a show going, there'll be like, I think usually a 2 p.m. show.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. If that's not your thing, you want to do more outdoor things, you go a few miles south of Omaha down to Bellevue. There's Fontenelle Forest.
There is.
They open pretty early compared to other places. So if you want to like stay outside and hike, they've got trails there. They've got a boardwalk that is stroller friendly.
The Bellevue Berry Farm's fun too, if that's open. Like the kids, they've got a zip line.
Play structures in there, like a big pirate ship that they could play on.
Yeah, it's really fun, and it's really reasonable. I don't remember what the price is, but it's not like, like Vala's would be a huge.
Yep. Check schedule, because sometimes there's festivals at the Bellevue Berry Farm.
Yeah, or live music. There's some live music, and sometimes there's like vendor pop up things, and it's such a good time.
All right, so switching gears to either coming as like a couple or a friends trip to Omaha.
Good night. Well, first I would say shows. Like I'm a big live entertainment person, and we have some really great venues, like small music shows. Check out like stuff at the Slowdown or Waiting Room if that's your thing. If you're looking into like that, like live,
those are more like maybe indie bands, some pretty good singer songwriters.
Yeah.
If you're wanting like big concerts, if you're like wanting the big ticket stuff, CHIs or Steelhouse, do two biggies,
or Astro, even the Astro in Pavilion.
They're starting to get a lot of great acts. Astro, so they amphitheater outside
and it's so great, honestly. And I've said this, they set it up so great. You could be walking your dog around the lake and listen to some great live music, even if you don't, like they've really the acoustics are great. in that way that it's like I've been on like not at a show and just parked and went to the lake and enjoyed it. It was so good.
And the other outdoor amphitheater, you've got two more. So you have Stir.
Yep.
That's over in Council Bluffs.
Yeah.
Super easy to get to if you're staying downtown the old market.
And honestly, having lived across the river, like I lived at Breakers and my balcony was right across from the stage. And we would just sit on the balcony and like catch the show. So there's ways that you can listen to, if you don't, but honestly, I recommend going. It's such a cool.
Yeah. And if you're trying like budget wise,
Yeah.
we've got a lot of free concert series in Omaha, especially if you're coming in the summer.
Yep.
Almost any night of the week, you're going to find
any part concert. Of town, like from west to all the way east.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and I usually check my blog. I usually share I have a list of the free concerts.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously plugging, but yeah, check the blog because she's really, really good at updating that.
Yeah. Summer is just anything, any concert, any night of the week.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Let's see. So plan for a show, hopefully. If you're not into if you want more like a chill music atmosphere, you'll sometimes find concerts, even the Joslin.
Yeah.
The Omaha Symphony will have a smaller like a quartet maybe playing. That's usually I think Sunday afternoons though. And
Joslin's free.
Yep. Bemis. Their concert series are usually Thursday nights, though.
Yeah, Thursday nights.
And they have those.
Yeah, and they're great.
And they're the low end.
The low end.
Those are free. Yeah.
Yes, they're free. They do ask that you register. Yeah, donation or but you go online and you register just to make sure because sometimes that being the couple where it's sold out.
That's like good to know because I keep meaning to go because there's some really unique performers that are coming, and I still haven't done it yet, but
right. But yeah, look on her blog because honestly, and even there's like some like really cool like open mic things. Like if you want to pop into like a coffee shop, like 13th Street does some open mic stuff. There's that place off of there's a place on Leavenworth.
That's Sozo.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
that's a big spot. If music's not your thing, there's comedy. We've got a couple comedy clubs. If you're staying downtown, there's the Back Line. That's just 16th. You'll find comedy there. We've gone to comedy, more of an improv at the Blackstone Theater.
Oh, yeah.
Which I should mention, on Friday nights, they have family-friendly improv.
Nice.
And it's like every Friday night, like 7 o'clock, I think. And we can't talk. We went with the kids one time.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
That's so cool.
My kids are fans of like Whose Lines It Anyway type stuff.
Yeah.
It's fun. And then like later in the night, it's more of an older crowd. You don't bring your kids to that. But.
Yeah. Oh, but hey, I know we're on couples, but for families, you guys went to Smash Park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On La Vista. So that's just hop on the interstate. La Vista is kind of a community next to Omaha. Most of the time I consider it just Omaha.
Yeah.
Just hop on the interstate. West and Smash Park is out there.
You got karaoke, there. You can eat
pickleball, obviously arcade.
Cabela's is right there.
Right.
Too.
A lot of people choose sometimes to stay out west. It's cheaper and you don't pay for parking.
Yeah.
And so if you stay out, say in La Vista, it's right by I-80.
And there's an Embassy Suites right there.
Yep. And then you just hop on the interstate and drive downtown, drive to the attractions. So that's an option.
It is kind of a nice option too, because you could, if you're staying there, you could do like the outlets. You could drive out to Gretna and do the outlets, or even go to like Mahoney. Like it's a nice area to start, like for the, I guess like landing point.
Right. And so, and that's a good point. So like out by the outlets, if you go a little bit further, you're near Ashland, which is about 30 minutes from Omaha. And that's where you're going to find the Strategic Air and Space and Aerospace Museum.
Yep.
And it's the same exit. So you go there, you got that museum, you've got the wildlife safari.
Yeah.
That's seasonal.
Great.
So that's open kind of toward the end of March through like October.
Kind of like
great drive through.
Yeah.
And you're by Mahoney State Park, which is one of the most popular parks in Nebraska.
Yeah, so good.
You've got, if you do that and you're outdoorsy, they've got horseback riding.
Yeah.
They've got
hiking. They've got swimming. Obviously, they got so much stuff.
Yeah, that's the place. They have like a wave pool and they have water slides there at their aquatic center. We go with the kids. They've got a zip line, although I don't think it's open this year. It was damaged.
Oh yeah. But go. Yeah,
cool.
It's so great.
That's a great exit. So like if you're done with driving downtown.
Yeah.
And you want to get out of
Yeah,
out
the
of there.
safari. I forgot about the safari. That's a
Yeah.
great way too. You don't have to walk around. The kids don't walk
And
around.
it's good, go there without kids too.
Yeah.
So that could be part of your couple or friends outing if you enjoy
Yeah.
animals. You see a lot of if you get so you drive around and then there's a spot midway through that you can get out of your car.
Mhm.
You can walk up some trails to see bears, wolves, bald
Yeah.
eagles,
It's awesome.
see sandhill cranes. You can see and one of the cool things I think, and it's a neat photo if they're moving, they have a big bison herd.
Yeah, they do.
And we've been there when they're crossing the road. It's
Oh,
so cool.
it is really cool. I forget about that. I used to go all the time when the kids were little, but and then the cloisters are just not too
Yeah,
far.
I've never been there.
The big glass.
Oh, the big glass. So that's called that's Holy Family Shrine.
That's right. The Holy Family Shrine is awesome.
You'll see it from the interstate if you're driving in from Omaha. It's kind of near Gretna, I believe.
Yeah, it's in that whole little sweet spot of like towards Ash.
It's a free thing to visit. It's a beautiful architecture and
massive glass.
Very peaceful place to visit.
Like chapel. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Okay, back to friends.
Travel.
Yeah. Omaha. So Saturday, what do you do? What do you tell people?
Well, I farmers market's like my favorite thing to do. But Hot Shops has great little things to do on the weekends, particularly. You could go make things. You can go watch people make things. There's there's a lot of like different crafting or hands-on things that you get to learn in the sense of you could throw clay. There's some pottery classes. You could watch them blow glass. You can even learn how to do some glass blowing. I just think that's the Hot Shops to me. I think when I send people there, it's just a get to do some of the things that you're so curious about that you're just like, when am I ever going to get a chance to blow glass, right? Like that'd be really cool to do, right? But you have the opportunity here in Omaha to do that. It's so cool, and I don't think enough people take advantage of it.
And that's in North Downtown, or we call it like Nodo area. It's right by the baseball stadium. And so if you go there, it's right by Millwork Commons,
which is amazing.
So they've got a coffee shop inside, bakery, pizza place, ice cream.
They've got a greens place, like they've got a whole and a really great bar. Like it's
a brewery. Yep. So that's a good spot to go to. Before, after.
Yeah. Anytime. Right. It's such a cool space. Yeah.
And these are like the really popular eateries that have the spot there.
Yes.
So like Cornflower Creamery. You've probably heard of them. The original location is in Blackstone. Yes. And we went there this past weekend.
There's always a line.
So always a line. And I'm not sure how it works at Millworks, but there's a second location. There'll be a third one soon, way out west. But the Millworks probably isn't as busy, I'm going to guess.
It's not as
a little
busy
more under the radar than the original location.
People forget. Yeah. And they're just like, oh, yeah. but it is still busy, but it's not like the original.
It's great stuff.
And that's another thing, too, is the different neighborhoods. So Blackstone, for sure. Yes. I mean, Coneflower, but I love Night Owl.
Okay, yep.
And which is really the vibe in Night Owl is so like cool, moody, retro. It's dark, and they've got like velvet,
like 70s and 80s movie playing on.
Oh yeah, screen. And like the really amazing like plastic or resin candle light holder things, and but they've got a great menu, great drink menu. They got vegan nachos, tater tots or whatever. Or I always get those. They're so great.
We went, so we brought family that was out of town, and we're like, well, what would be a cool place? Because downtown was out of the option because it was like St. Patrick's Day parade. So we're like, where should we go? We went to Blackstone, had lunch at Moolah. Everyone loved that. It's a Mexican restaurant. And they kind of just walked around, had ice cream at Coneflower. And there's like there's a brewery or two there.
There's some really great bars in Blackstone. Like first I love Reno's. Go karaokeing. But like Red Lion.
Oh yeah, I had them peek inside there because I'm like, this is really cool looking.
Red Line's great.
Yeah, the interior is fun.
They got a drink that I love. I think it's called the Hot Mama. Okay. It's delicious. And they've got popcorn.
Oh, I didn't know that. And it's super near Cottonwood Hotel.
Yep.
That might be a fun place to
The
stay.
bowling place, the
Bob and
Willie's.
Willie's.
Yeah, the
Wonder
bowling.
Bowl. So that's like duck pin bowling. It's 21 and older. So if you're like, you don't want to go anywhere where there's kids,
Yeah.
that's an option.
So fun.
So it would be fun to stay in that area if you don't stay in the
Mhm.
old market. The Cottonwood.
And the Cottonwood's
walkable.
great.
They've got an awesome pool. And they got a pool bar.
Mhm.
And then they got a really neat cocktail bar in the
Yes,
basement
they
that's
do.
just pretty for photo. Like it's
Yeah.
all around. And then they got a steakhouse.
And they sometimes have really
Yeah.
great like DJs
Yeah.
and events that are hosted there. So
that just reminds me, steakhouse. A lot of people ask for like, all right, we want to have like Omaha's known for their steaks. Where do you go?
Where do you tell people?
Okay, so I tell the drover.
Yeah,
So like for the longest time, when I worked at Omaha Performing Arts, and like my mentor, who did like the PR for forever, whenever there's anyone coming in town and they asked her, and I just took it from her too. It's like we just send everyone to the drover. Yep. So that's it's off of 72nd Street, I believe.
It is. Yeah.
It's a classic steakhouse.
It's hard to find too. If you don't know where you're looking.
I really didn't know either.
You think it's like
in Omaha my life.
Yeah, it's like a dentist building or whatever, like an office building, and you're like, oh, yeah, it's awesome.
Otherwise, I'd say like Brother Sebastian's for unique steakhouse.
Yeah, it's really unique.
It's like kind of has it's going for the monastery vibe.
I mean, you can hear them. Right. Like you can hear them chanting.
Right.
Yeah.
So like go there. Those are the two options.
Yeah, those are the two that I would normally. And I've been to both. Have not eaten. Right. Great potatoes. Like I mean, great baked potatoes. But I do say sometimes, like some great steak places, you can tell how good it is by the baked potato. Because like if they care that much about the baked potato, then I can only imagine how good the meat is. Like honestly.
Yes.
But again, what do I know? But the drover, everyone says the drover.
Like
and it's cool. It's like so dark. It's like the ambiance is really cool. Yeah, it feels exactly. It feels just like a movie, like as if I were to be casting it or like producing it in the set and setting the set for a steakhouse scene that I would do. The lighting is just perfect.
Yes. All right. So we talked about cool little neighborhoods and music. What else should?
Again, this is like a great time too because we've got Benson First Fridays, in Benson, and we've got then they've got the fourth Fridays at the Pace Center or Hoff Family Center in Council Bluffs as well, and then Thursdays, the third Thursdays in the market,
and then I think there's like something on Vinton Street. I don't know if it's Saturdays.
I think it's second Saturday.
That's a cool little
that's the thing too. It's like another thing to look up those because again, the March to October sweet spot, there's like everything starts happening and it's regular schedule, which is so great because then you got like Jazz on the Green, you got Shakespeare.
They don't do Shakespeare anymore.
No more. I thought they were bringing it back, and I think it was moving like towards me, like I hope so. Don't quote me on that. I swear I spoke to somebody.
I hope so because when they disbanded and stopped, I was like, oh, that's a pity because that was it's been going for decades. And it was great.
Yeah, and it was great. I loved it, and a lot of people that I worked with were part of the scene. They worked it. So I swear somebody told me. Don't quote me on it, but we'll keep our ears open for it. But yeah, I would, that's the thing. It's like a sweet spot. There's so many things that you could just plan based off of the regularly scheduled programming that we have in town. And it's a lot.
And if you don't have it, if nothing's going on, there's some other standbys. I know a lot of people enjoy Topgolf, and if that's not in your community, then that's a fun place to go.
And that's like
reserve ahead of time because it can get really busy and popular. Any time of year though, because we're open. We've gone in the winter.
Yeah. People love Topgolf. And it's right by the mall. And it's a great mall. Westroads is a great mall.
We got a food hall there.
The
food hall in Nebraska.
So great.
Westroads.
The food hall is really, really good. Honestly, I'd send people there just for the food.
Right.
But it's a really great mall for people who are visiting.
Shopping.
Yeah, for shopping.
Yeah, where would you send people for shopping? Westroads, Village Point Has a lot of
Yeah.
great shops that aren't anywhere else in Omaha.
Yeah,
Outlets.
but I mean, I do consignment. I would give people a good little map of really great thrift stores. And
Top three thrift stores.
oh,
Where would
good
you send people?
night. I don't top 3. It's hard. Well, okay, so for non-clothing,
Mhm.
um the black market, the one on in the old market, it's called black market. It's the one off of 12th and Jackson, right beside the Flying Worm,
Okay.
and then right beside Jackson Street Tavern. Like it's that whole
Okay.
corner.
Okay. That's what you're talking about.
Really cool vintage games and artifacts, jewelry, furniture, like art.
And then, like, do you enter in the alley behind it, or there's
No,
actual
there
house?
is an entrance at the
Okay.
alley, but I've only like picked things up, like furniture that I purchased
Okay.
back there. But it's like literally if I'm facing the corner, it's the last door on the
Okay.
right that you
Right.
can go into. And they've got honestly really, really cool things. It's just lined with a bunch of glass cabinets, and they've got really vintage pieces. And you can find some things are really, I mean, rare and priced accordingly, but some things are really reasonable. And you can find really cool old like sterling silver stuff that I dig, and really tacky old art that I think is awesome. But that would probably be my favorite for that kind of stuff. Flying Worm's great too, right next door. So the Flying Worm's got is a great
Clothing
consignment.
stuff,
Yeah,
yeah.
clothing. As far as the thrift worlds are concerned, I love the one on the one on Leavenworth. It is Leavenworth, and right off the interstate, just west of the Leavenworth exit.
Okay.
Off the interstate.
Yeah, I've never been to that one. I go to the Thrift World on near these
Yeah, the one right by the old what was it? The old Family Fun Center. Yeah,
they have a giant. You'll see it. They have a giant arcade game.
Yeah, and they have like announcements for like the thrift store. But yeah, that's a great one. It's a big one.
Yeah.
And then I go to the one in La Vista or Papillion a lot too. But I would say the one on Leavenworth is great. There's so many. I can't even. I'm like, oh my gosh. What's the one in Benson? Oh my gosh, I can't even think of the name. But honestly, we have some really great thrift stores and consignment. There's some really Stella's, and it's a West Side area. It's where is Stella's located? 78th and just like north of Pacific area.
Or is it Esther's?
Or Esther's.
It's at the high end.
Why do I think Stella's? Oh,
I don't know.
burgers probably.
No, but I've heard Esther's.
Esther's is great. Yeah,
that's for like
it's consignment.
Luxury?
It's got a lot more luxury brand stuff. But you can find a gem and I'm talking like $1,500 things that you can buy for like $50 or less sometimes. But super, super cool if you know what you're looking for. Yeah, I think those are my recommendation. I know I'm forgetting something right now, and I'm just gonna. But yeah, awesome. I don't know why I said Stella. It's probably because I was thinking food, but
and then I guess I'll just plug because I recommended it to my aunt. So it's not just for older crowd. I've gone there with my friends. We have afternoon tea is starting to get really popular here. There's a couple places that have it, and we went to. I'm gonna mispronounce it because it's like a French word, but chocolate Abel in Bellevue. Like I think it's French for bee. And so it's a chocolatier. So like you can go anytime and just buy like amazing, like it's almost like a work of art. Their chocolate because they just design it so pretty and delicious. But they have a chocolate tea and a chocolate tasting with it.
Cool.
So you get the little tea cakes and you get your tea, and then at the end you get to try all these chocolates, and you get to take home like a chocolate with you.
Fun. That would be fun with like a mom-daughter thing.
Absolutely. So I told my aunt to bring her friends there, but there's the Bubbly Tart does afternoon teas. I've never been to theirs, but they're a regular one. And then like if you want legit English tea, Chippies in West Omaha, they have English afternoon tea. Nice option. So,
I like English tea.
That's a little different if you want. It's it's an experience and it takes some time. So like
Yeah.
if you're like, I'm on a schedule, you might not want to do like a 2-hour
Yeah.
afternoon tea.
Yeah.
Just chilling and talking. But if you're not in a rush, it's a good option.
Yeah. I never even thought about that.
And before we end, how about maybe brunch places, since people probably will be visiting on the weekends? Where would you?
And Fizzy's. Honestly, you can't take kids there, but like Fizzy's brunch, hands down, I love.
And that's in Little Bohemia, just near the old market downtown.
Yeah, I mean, if you look for the building with the different color stripes on it, in the big window, I think it's red. I don't know, but there's different colored stripes, and then it's next to the old Bohemian Cafe. So there's like, you'll see shutters that are painted with like tulips or folk art stuff, and then there's a really great. That's another thrift store right on the corner. If I'm looking at Fizzy's, and then there's the other bar, and then there's a thrift store right on the side. That's really awesome. But yeah, Fizzy's for sure. What's your brunch place?
I would say, so it depends. Like if you want kind of like a sort of not extravagant, but a great brunch spot is in the Cottonwood Hotel.
Oh yeah,
in the Orleans Room.
You're not wrong.
And just know, like the Cottonwood Hotel, it used to be called the Fontenelle Hotel, and that's said to be where the Reuben sandwich was invented.
Yep.
So you can get a Reuben there. I don't know if you can get it during brunch, but probably.
I think you can. And again, Sundays, you're right. At Cottonwood, we go. There's a live DJ there, like a good friend of mine that will spin there every now and then, and so we'll go when she's working. And but they are so accommodating to my dietary restrictions as well.
That's
like I just tell them, and then the chef makes something. So it's good to, it's really nice.
And then other options further out west, like, and it's not necessarily near touristy areas or hotels, but there's Saddle Creek Breakfast Club. They've moved, so they're in Countryside Village,
which is
a really cool looking place.
Really cool place.
Food. And then and that'll be like, there'll be a wait, but it's worth it.
But there's great places you could, honestly.
There's shops all around.
Yeah, there's like really cool. My favorite paper store is right in Countryside. Like there's some really cool things. Made in Omaha's there.
Yep.
Yeah, it's great.
So there's a coffee shop you can chill at. So yeah, there's no problem if you have to wait.
Yeah.
I think those would be my two.
That's good
recommendations. So
really good recommendations.
I hope that has given some people ideas.
Yeah, and check out her blog. Literally, Kim's really good at keeping up on that. So I would definitely recommend people to check out your blog. Cool.
See you.
Good to see you. I'll see you in a week. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for listening to Oh My Omaha, the podcast. We want to thank our guest, Hurrdat Media, all of you for your support, and the Omaha community at large.
So from D&I, keep on exploring.